2010, 1950, 1776. Just a couple of famous years in the United States versus England rivalry that will continue today in Qatar for the FIFA World Cup. Welcome into the State of Soccer stream presented by GOLZ TV. I'm Josh Sperber. He's Adam Turner. And we've been ready for this match since the groups have been released, Adam. This is going to be a really exciting contest for the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, for some of us, we really remember 2010 and the hype that kind of led into that match as well. And it was pretty similar, to be honest, right? It was like an England team that had all the names in the world, the Rooneys, the Lampards, the Gerrards, and a U.S. team that had, some up and coming, emerging type dudes who weren't necessarily, world superstars, and I don't think it's all that different now, right? I think we're a little younger than we were then. Maybe these guys have a little more upside than those guys in the long term, but overall, we have a scrappy group, a group that's pretty unproven, which that team coming off 06 was pretty unproven as well. And, I think what we did that night that I hope we do today as well is we fought. We made the game an absolute dogfight. And I think that's what, has been the identity of U.S. soccer. Some people want to get away from it. Some people want to lean into it. I think we want to lean into it, right? With a more technical, more talented group, but lean into what the identity's always been, which is you're in for a dogfight if you're going to come, play against the Crest. And I want England to feel that every single minute, right? Win, lose, or draw. I do not want us to back down tonight. I want us to make them feel us on the field for 90.
And I think that's what led to the events of 2010, because obviously the memorable part for an American soccer fan in that was that Joe Hart misplay of just a Clint Dempsey ground ball. I don't think he was expecting that kind of relentless attack, and that's the kind of thing that the U.S. needs to do. They need to unsettle this England team that is not just favored in this rivalry between the U.S. and England, but they're favored as one of the World Cup favorites.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're coming in off World Cup semis, Euro final, where they lost in a PK shootout, right? And they have pretty much that whole core group back, plus Saka and Bellingham, who they've kind of added. I know those guys were a part of the Euro team, but like those guys have taken a massive jump, in my opinion. Bellingham all of a sudden looks like, he might be the next dude for them in the midfield. And Saka was an absolute game changer, has been for Arsenal all year, was today. And that's what's kind of scary, right? Is you still have the Kanes and the Sterlings and, the whole crew of guys, they have pretty much that core. And then it's like, oh, but they have young studs coming in too. And that makes them scary, right? And Saka is the guy for me that's like the game changer. He's the guy that is most scary to me, even more so than Kane. I think Saka can change a game like that. And I think he's a guy that, if we're not careful with, you saw what happened last game, if he can get free. And so we got to be really cognizant of him.
And there are two big Chelsea players in that starting lineup, teammates of Christian Pulisic, who it really comes down to for the United States. He is the man feeling the pressure for the U.S., and he's got a bunch of his teammates that know him on the other side, which could make it more difficult for the American talisman.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, right? I think there's like familiarity both ways, and I think you have that with Ream, right? Who's played against a lot of these guys for years. I know he's gone in and out of the Premier League, but he has. And Jedi now, right, has spent 2 years in the Premier League in the last 3, playing against all these guys day in, day out. On top of Pulisic, and it's not like the other guys that we're throwing out there haven't played some big time soccer, right? Champions League, French title winning soccer for Temi Weah. In our midfield, Musa's been playing now for 3 seasons against Real Madrid's and Barcelona's. And like, these guys aren't going to be scared. They're not going to be scared of the talent, like this is not abnormal. I feel like in years past, a lot of our teams would come in and you might have like a Clint who played against these guys, but nobody else had maybe ever played against them, right? And it's just so different with our group of guys now. We could fall short for other reasons. It's not going to be because of like, whoa, it's Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling. Like for these guys, it's like, yeah, it's Harry and Raheem. Yeah, we play against them all the time. And I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, and as you said, that's a real major difference between this team in 2010, because it was like that in 2010. even Landon Donovan hadn't got a lot of experience against the British players. And you talked earlier about the Stevie Gerrards, Frank Lampards, Wayne Rooney's. Those guys were the legends of the game at that point. This time, the legends of the game, I'm not going to say the Americans are the legends of the game yet, because that is certainly a bit of a reach. But there's just a more familiar, as you said, there's more familiarity. These guys are a more consistent matchup against the top players in the world. And that, I think, is going to be just a big difference, because it's not just a group of American fanboys against the best in the world. It's the best of America against the best of Britain.
Yeah, I think, there's nothing to be scared of. I've said that a couple times. But there are some serious concerns, right? Like, one being like England can bring in, off their bench guys that would be locked in starters for us, and honestly for most World Cup teams, right? Like, you saw it the other day. They brought in, $100 million player Jack Grealish off the bench. They're bringing in, I think Phil Foden off the bench, right? Who's maybe one of the most explosive attacking talents in the world, and Marcus Rashford. And so I think that it's going to be really paramount that we kind of we get out in this game and get feeling confident. I think that if at all we're not feeling confident and we're not feeling good in the second half, and they bring that second line at us, it's just like it's tough. It's going to be tough no matter what. But I think if we have confidence and juice and we've brought the game to them and put them on their heels a little bit with maybe how physical we're being, how much we're CONCACAFing it up, right? There's a lot of things that we have to do where I don't think we can go play a clean soccer game. I'll be honest. I don't think we can just go be like, you guys get to play, we get to play. I think we have to muck this thing up, right? I think it has to be like an uglier game, because I think a clean soccer game favors them. It just does.
You're absolutely right. And we'll take a look at the starting lineups, beginning with the United States, because they're the one team that have changed their lineup from the opening game against Wales. Just one change, and that is the man up top. Haji Wright is in as the striker over Josh Sargent.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, the Haji thing has been interesting, since he was announced on the team. He wasn't in the September roster. He was in, I think one camp. It was back in June, and he got criticized pretty roundly for his performance in the El Salvador game by Greg. And then he came back in for the World Cup roster, which felt random. And then all of a sudden he's starting in game 2. And so I'm not the biggest Haji guy. I know I know a bunch of people are, and including some people that are on this channel. And I don't hate him, but I think he leaves a lot. There's a lot of question marks for me, right? About what does he do in this game that Greg sees? Where does Greg see him doing in this game that he didn't see, Josh doing or Ferreira doing? And so that's going to be interesting. I mean, this is a massive game, and you've got a guy with very few USMNT caps. I think one USMNT starting in the game. So huge moment for him. Really pumped to see what happens. I can't honestly say though, Josh, that I'm that optimistic based on what I've seen out of Haji in a US jersey. I'm assuming Greg thinks that our opportunities are going to be on the counter, and Haji's the best counter guy. I have to assume that's what he thinks.
And he is the first player since 1998 to get a World Cup start in one of his first 5 caps. 1 goal in 4 previous caps for Haji Wright. So Greg Berhalter really changing things up in the number 9 role. For England, though, not much you need to change after a 6-2 win against Iran, who just came off a massive victory over Wales.
Yeah, we were talking before we came on air, like they were really just absolutely ruthless. Like ruthless from the 30-minute mark on. They were, I don't want to say like impossible to play against, but listen, like some really nice connection play that led to that cross that Bellingham from, I don't know, the penalty spot, basically put into an upper 90 off the back of his head on a loop. Like, not much you can do if you're Iran about that. Maybe cut out the action beforehand, but it's England. They're going to create some crosses. They're going to create some opportunities. And so this is where luck plays into soccer, as we know, right, Josh? Like, you're just going to need to get a little bit. We need that one to hit the post and bounce over today. Like the couple chances that they got that, went for them, we need them to go the other way today. It's not like they scored 6 and had 7 XG, right? They scored 6 and had like 2 XG. So I feel like if we can do a little bit better job of containing them than Iran, and they aren't quite, I don't want to say lucky, right? But they aren't as clinical today, which is totally possible if you've watched England. They aren't always that clinical. For anyone who doesn't watch international soccer, that is not England game in and game out, guys, right? They just played in the Nations League and I think got relegated and demoted from their Nations League group because they weren't playing very well. So we could definitely see an English team that's less ruthless today. And we'll have to, honestly, because if we see that level of ruthlessness, nobody, maybe in this tourney, is going to beat them if they play like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect any team to get 6 goals a game, but if you do, you're in pretty good shape. And as we talked about, Adam, what really stands out for me with England is how strong that bench is.
Yeah, I mean, look at the names. I mean, I'm squinting here, but like the attacking talent, Grealish, Rashford, we talked about Foden, and I mean, it kind of goes on and on after that, and then you just got some other, even like Trent Alexander-Arnold's one of the best right backs in the world, and he doesn't start for them, so it's almost like whatever position England is going to sub at, they have another elite guy on the bench behind them. I will say the one spot where I'm not necessarily as scared of them is in the midfield. I just, it's no knock on Declan Rice. It's no knock on Mason Mount, right? I think other than Bellingham, who's, young, talked about how talented he was when we first came on air, but like he's young. Other than him, like those guys aren't, they're not the same level they don't have the same level of dynamicism as some of the attacking talent does. And so midfield is a spot. I don't want to overstate it, right? And say our midfield is better than theirs. It's not. But midfield is a spot where we can win today. And I think that's what we need to focus on. Where can we win today? And I think our midfield, if they're playing the way that we've seen the MMA midfield play in certain games, they can go out and win this day today against that England midfield, which I'm excited about.
And there were flashes where the United States midfield looked like they compete with just about anyone in that first match against Wales. Yunus Musa had a couple of good starts to the attack, but it just seemed to me the midfield didn't finish attacks in that first match against Wales.
Yeah, I thought, first half, I thought it's kind of what I expected out of McKennie and Musa in a game where in the first half the team was kind of parking the bus. Those guys they're not incisive in that way, with the ball at their feet and defend a bunch of defenders in front of them. That's not where they thrive, right? They thrive in numbered advantage situations and space. And that's what you saw in the second half. And neither still really made an impact. And so that was a little worrying to me about where maybe McKennie's fitness is. Maybe how much was on Musa's shoulders because of that. I don't know, right? We're just speculating. But I think today in the transition moments, which England is going to give us, England is not sitting back in this game. There are going to be transition moments. We need Musa and McKennie to be special on the ball, driving it forward. And, obviously getting into spaces where they can then play, Pulisic and Weah and Haji today, into good space. And, those guys, we don't necessarily, it would be nice if we got a goal out of one of them. It would be nice if we got an assist out of one of them. But we actually don't need that. What we need is the pass before the pass from them, right? We need them to be the guy that progress the ball into the space where they can make the pass before the pass, right? That leads to it. And, if you watched the England game the other day and you saw their opening goal, it was actually a center back that made the pass before the pass. It was Harry Maguire made the pass and then a bunch of link up play into the cross. And we need that. They're not going to sit back on us today. Our center backs aren't necessarily going to be the ones that make the incisive passing. It's going to be the midfielders. And that's where the Gio Reyna question mark comes in. Where is he? Why is he not in this lineup? Why is he not starting? Hopefully we see him off the bench, but Reyna is the incisive guy. He's the guy that can make the pass before the pass or even just the pass before the goal, right? And we need that today.
Yeah, and I do think another thing we need is a goal from Christian Pulisic, because in games like this, people look to their talisman. They look to their captain. And while Pulisic might not wear the captain's armband, he is the focal point of that United States offense. And him getting on the board in his first World Cup, I think, would be massive for the United States.
Yeah, I think another thing to look out for, a place that we can exploit, is Harry Maguire and John Stones haven't always been the most reliable, and I think Maguire gets more hate than he deserves, just being honest. And I think John Stones is really good, especially with the ball at his feet. John Stones is really good. But these aren't guys that are perfect, right? And they're not, in my estimation, they're not world class center backs, right? Very good center backs. I don't want to get that wrong. But we can take advantage of those guys, right? They're not guys who are like absolute lockdown. If we can get Pooley and our midfield and Weah, if we get those guys in space with them, they have more pace than them. They have the ability to beat them off the dribble. So I'm excited to see what our attackers can do against their center backs.
Well, the match is about to start. We already have a prediction in our comments. Philip Mason says it's going to be England 3, USA 1. What are your thoughts? What do you think the final score is going to be?
I hate to just bail out here, but I'm going to go 1-1 again. It feels like another 1-1 day. I'll take 1-1, but I think we're going to be solid enough to hold them to 1. I don't think they're going to be as ruthless as they were the other day, and I think we go get a late equalizer here today.
Well, we have the match starting. England will control beginning in this contest. If England takes the victory, they clinch their spot in the knockout stages. United States can't outright clinch, but they can set themselves in a really good position with a win or a draw today against Iran, who got a huge 3 points against Wales earlier today.
Yeah, and I think something just to watch out for all the viewers at home. What is our press philosophy today against these guys? We've seen Greg, dial it up and dial it down depending on the opponent over the last year and a half, 2 years. And I'm interested to see how hard we go after their back line.
And England quickly in the United States attacking third with a throw-in. They're coming out with a 4-2-3-1. Rice and Bellingham back in the midfield with Shaw, Maguire, Jones, and Trippier from left to right on the back line. And up front, Mason Mount, Raheem Sterling, and Bukayo Saka, the attacking three in the midfield with Harry Kane as the true number 9. And he is a dangerous man to watch out for.
Yeah, another one of those guys. I was on the Mexico-Poland game the other day, and similar to Lewandowski and how we talked about Lewandowski, when you have a guy like Kane who can he can get a goal out of nowhere at any moment, you just have to be really aware of him. And I think that the thing that Kane brings as well is just the link-up play, and that's something to watch out for today. Is he's so good at holding the ball up, connecting play with quick little clever, either one touches or two touch, passes. And that's something that, we're going to have our center backs are going to have to do a great job of marking him, pressuring him, not letting him just, run free up there.
And something that people don't really talk about Harry Kane is his passing ability. Obviously, you see the number 9 on the guy's shirt, you think shooters are going to shoot, but he has turned into a great target man as well as a guy who can control the game with his goals.
Yeah, I mean, it plays, at times – you feel like he's playing like a number 10 at Tottenham, right? And not always, but like there's some games where I'm like, gosh, he's dropped in so much, he's connecting play so much. And it's one of those things that's unexpected if you watch him early in his career. It didn't seem like he was going to have that kind of technical ability. He's really developed it.
And the ball out of bounds for England. United States get a chance in the middle third on England's side. Kane does wear number 10 for Tottenham, so maybe that's why he plays like the number 10. But one can speculate or not. Well, we don't need to speculate about 4-3-3 for the United States, a more defensive midfield with Adam in the center, Musa McKinney flanking him, Jedi Robinson, Tim Ream, Walker, Zimmerman to Serginho Dest, left to right in the back line for the United States. And the three up front is where things can change. Haji Wright with Christian Pulisic and Tim Weah on either side of him.
Yeah, we are. We are pushed up a good bit. We're pressuring their backline, their midfielders when they get these balls. We're not allowing them to just progress it easily through that midfield, which is nice to see.
3 minutes have gone by in United States. England still goalless so far. It took pretty late in that 2010 game for goals to get started, but United States getting an attack up the left side as Jedi Robinson has it taken from him, and it's Mason Mount who's trying to call it off the United States.
Yeah, I think Jedi is going to have a really important role today. I think at times he can over dribble, like you saw him do right there. But I think the right runs at the right time, similar to that ball you saw him play to Sargent the other day, like he can be really timely. We've seen that, through World Cup qualifying from Jedi. He can be the timely guy to get the, cross or the goal at the right time. And so could see a really big moment from him today.
Yeah, and that's really where a lot of the attacks have started since the qualifying rounds. You've seen the pace of Serginho Dest and Jedi Robinson being used up those flanks, and the fullbacks really getting things started for the U.S.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. Like, I wonder how far forward we're going to have those guys today. Especially with the threat of England going down the wing. Are we going to be a little more conservative? Are we pushing them up as high as we do in a lot of other games? So just another one of those tactical wrinkles to watch out for. I'm noticing Dest and Jedi dropped a little bit further back today than we have in other contests.
And I think part of that is just because they're concerned a lot more about the scoring talent of England rather than Wales. Gareth Bale got his goal in a penalty against the United States, and Wales failed to score against Iran earlier this morning.
Yeah, not shocked by the tempo of the game right now. England controlling possession, which is very much what I thought would happen, and I don't mind that. Right, I think as long as we can do a good job of containing where they're able to play the ball consistently and potentially even pressuring them up and getting some turnovers in certain spots, I think it could be to our advantage as a countering team and pressing team.
United States with not too aggressive of a press, but certainly some press on England, and it pays off there as they'll get the ball via throw-in close to the middle of the field.
Yeah, they're not going after the center backs and the back line guys as hard as we've obviously seen Greg do in other games. They are really going after the midfielders when England gets the ball and tries to progress it through a line. It seems like very tactically, Musa, Adams, McKennie, we've seen all three of those guys step up hard to the midfield and not let those guys turn with the ball or make that next connecting pass.
Some good passing for the United States. That one deflected away, trickles toward Jedi Robinson, and he'll bring it back in the midfield as the United States trying to play it in the back as they did a lot against Wales, but England's pressure proving too strong.
Yeah, need Adams just a little bit more headsy right there. I think England did a good job of reading the pass back, and Adams got to understand where that guy's pressuring him and take advantage of it. England's definitely going to pressure Adams and our back line today, at least a little bit. They have to. It's just it's there for the taking.
Matt Turner gets the ball as a pass goes a bit wide from Harry Kane. He's still giving some pressure as Turner is going to give it to Ream. Now Robinson has it as the United States makes their move up the left side. Musa to Robinson. Now back to McKennie, who'll play it behind to his center back in Walker Zimmerman. And something I think it's going to be important to talk about. We talked a little bit about that Iran match against Wales, but that really changes things in this Group B. A late victory for Iran, 2 goals in extra time after the Welsh keeper committed a red card penalty and ended up with a 2-0 Iran victory. How does that change the outlook in this Group B?
I think a lot of people were hoping for the draw, in which case, if you got that draw and then Wales lose to England, we could technically have drawn to have the 2 points, but it was never going to be a 2-point and through type deal, right? I mean, it's just not how it works. I think for me, I like it. I think it leaves us in a spot where basically that Iran game becomes a win game or go home, and that's fine. Like, you've got to go win one of these games. Unless we can pull this England game out, that becomes a win that game and go through, or draw or lose and go home, and that's fine. Like, that's the World Cup. So I didn't mind it, unless we get a Wales upset over England. It's just like we know what we got to do. We got to go get a W.
That does remind me of 2010 just a little bit, although I'm sure some U.S. national team fans could do without the late drama in that Algeria match. Still one of my favorite World Cup moments.
Oh, that's an all-timer, and I feel like we're definitely set up for a dramatic match day 3 here. I just think no matter how we cut it, that Iran-US game is going to be a barn burner, and whether it's we need to get a draw or we need to get a win, I think you're looking at the last 20, 30 minutes of a game where we got to go get a result.
Here's Raheem Sterling sending it to Saka towards the middle, and that gets deflected away. England's
Yeah,
first dangerous attack ends in a corner.
you saw this is the ability of Bellingham right here, right? So I mean, this is Bellingham in space and just really hard to contain. He's able to make the ball to Saka, who then cuts it back to Harry Kane, and we got really, really lucky. Really good job by Zim to close his legs right there. Almost got 5-hold, which I think would have probably led to a goal. And Zim did a good job of closing him up at the last second to deflect it out of bounds. Could have easily been an own goal too.
But it does end up in a corner kick. Kieran Trippier really in the match for his set piece ability as he sends the outswinger in. Header knocked away, not too dangerous in Harry Maguire's attempt. And now Maguire controls. He's cutting it in himself. The pass back, deflected away by Dest. Long shot flies into the stands. And Maguire tried to do a little one-man show over there.
Yeah, first real, I think, sustained spell of pressure from England on us right there. And, came out okay. I think the opportunity we gave up to Harry Kane is not one you want to give up too many times. He's going to be pretty clinical. If you give that to him too many times, he's going to put that away.
A first goal kick for the United States. Matt Turner, who is, injury aside, seemingly earned that number 1 shirt that had belonged to Zach Steffen for so long.
Yeah,
another guy who plays consistently against this British talent at Arsenal.
There's going to be a moment or two that we need Matt Turner to come up big today, right? If we're going to, get a win or get a 1-1 type draw, he's going to have to, make a massive save or two.
And he has done that for the United States a couple of times. A really good run of play in qualifying, a couple of major tournaments that he's helped the United States win as well.
4th Jersey-born, just shout out Jersey, that's where I'm from as well. 4th Jersey-born keeper to start a World Cup game. Pretty impressive from the state of New Jersey.
I guess New Jersey's keeper you, if that's a thing.
That's right.
At the professional stage. 12th minute here. England has been in control much of the game, but no goals yet for either side. Both teams really playing it out of the back. John Stones in control. Slowly up towards the sides. Now Trippier. Back towards the center of the park with Declan Rice. To Maguire. Now Shaw.
Yeah, we're a little bit more compact in the space than we normally are. I think Greg's, approached this game fairly conservatively, which I totally get.
And I think it behooves the United States to start off with a more conservative approach and kind of just see where the game takes you, because you know how strong this attack from England is going to be. You know how talented this side is. This is one of the deepest squads at the World Cup. And I think a kind of play it by ear approach is going to be a good thing for the USA.
Yeah, I agree. That's a tough giveaway right there by Zimmerman.
And England trying to take advantage. They've got it up the left side with Mount. Now Bellingham towards Trippier on the right side. Bellingham pulling the strings for England. Now Shaw with a fullbacks pushed very far forward. High line from this England back four, with Trippier looking more like a right winger than a right back. Attempt by Saka, deflected. Header knocked away, and it's cleared by the United States.
Second time we've seen that Saka run down the right-hand side and get dangerous for them. First time was the cut back to Kane, and then, right there again. So something just to be on the lookout for. We really need to be aware of where Bukayo Saka is. He's quickly becoming one of the best attackers in the world, and not a guy that we can, really leave free in the way that we are again.
And Saka has been winning most of those battles along the right wing. Trippier helping him out there, but it ends up as a harmless ball scooped by Matt Turner.
Yeah, better job by Ream there of stepping up and meeting him at the point of attack and forcing, touches backward. I think the other two, really nobody was there, on the touch. And Saka was able to get some really, really dangerous, I think, crosses and cutbacks in. So just got to do a better job of that, right? Like I said earlier, you can get away with that once or twice, but if you're going to let somebody get that all game long, it's going to burn you eventually. And we need Zimmerman to be better passing. He can't. It's just a bad giveaway. He's trying to break lines right there, and he ends up giving it to England, and they're coming back with numbers at us.
Yeah, because one of those attacks, it's just bound to go in. There's too much talent in this England attacking for that not to just fall at one of these points, and that's something that Zimmerman and the United States have to be careful of.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not always the best at in-half adjustments, but there's another potential giveaway. Don't get it back.
Yeah, it seems like England putting extra pressure on Zimmerman when he's controlling the ball. Gareth Southgate knowing when to press this British side. Saka in control. Adams ends up passing it to Bellingham, and now it's with Shaw on the left side of the pitch. 15 minutes have elapsed, still scoreless in this Revolutionary War rivalry. England once again in the United States attacking third, 62% of the possession so far. Now Shaw tries to pass it and ends up rolling in to Matt Turner, the netminder for Arsenal. And how much of an advantage is it for the United States that he gets to play against these guys week in, week out in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think certainly having him move there, has ended up being a really big, I think just a nice advantage, right? I think he probably feels more confident playing against this level of competition. Seen some of them. Obviously plays against Saka day in and day out in training. So, yeah, I think from a comfortability standpoint, it's a great move.
And Haji Wright getting his first chance. A nice cross from Weston McKennie, as we'll see on the replay. But a mishit header by Wright falls harmlessly wide.
Yeah, first, real penetrating move into the box wasn't overly threatening, but at least we kind of got it there, got our feet wet a little bit. Now we just need far more of that, right? And I think the thing that we're going to have to do is, I know we're sitting back, we're going to have to take a page out of Canada's playbook, right? This is exactly how the way we're playing England is how Canada played us. If you watch that away game, I think what Canada did a better job than what we're doing is just being more, more direct on the counter. Our counters, we're not really, turning defense to offense quick enough. We're kind of, cycling it and recycling it backwards. And I don't know if we can break England down that way. I don't know if we're going to break England down in the possession game.
United States starting to get a little more pacey in their attack, but Robinson quickly has it taken away from him. A man down for England, and a foul will be called. It's really the first foul of this contest. It's been a pretty clean match so far.
Yeah, I think, like I said before the game, Josh, I don't know if that favors us. So something to look out for.
England quickly restarting the attack. John Stones controlling in the back for the Brits. Passing it all the way down to the left. Maguire to Shaw, two Man United teammates on the left side of the park. Back across the Jordan Pickford, succeeding United States netminder at Everton. Tim Howard, a long-time goalkeeper for Everton in the Premier League. "18 minutes have elapsed. A pretty slow game thus far. Each team with one chance on net. England, I think, certainly with the better of the attacks so far.
Yeah, that Harry Kane attack, that Saka to Harry Kane attack is really the moment of the game so far, as everyone came up pretty big in that moment, which was nice to see. Huge block. But, I tell you what, 20 minutes in of only really giving up that one as the big dangerous moment, it's not so bad, especially if we can just tighten it up, kind of learn, where and how England's trying to attack. They really like attacking down their right side. And so we just have to be aware and cognizant of that and understand that Saka is trying to make those runs between Jedi and Ream. We have to be aware of that and just kind of continue to think about cutting those out.
And England's right, United States left. That's really the matchup if we're breaking this down side by side. U.S. looking to run up with Jedi Robinson to Pulisic. That link up. England Trippier and Saka seems to be their focal point thus far. Kane trying to take on the U.S. defense himself, instead flips to Saka. Now Bellingham with Musa defending. Knocked down, but no foul called. Now the United States have a chance in the counter. Pulisic spins it around to Musa. Central to McKinney. Now Dest sprinting up the right side, looking threatening for the U.S. Low cross by Dest, deflected away, and England quells that attack pretty quickly.
There were a couple opportunities right there. One of Moose's pass, one of Pooley's. Oop.
And now United States control again. Dest, the high cross. Pickford snatches it out of the air, and England in control again. United States, though, looking better and better on those counters.
Yeah, some bright stuff there. We were one, more precise pass from Musa on that last counter from it being far more dangerous. His pass didn't lead Dest into space or McKinney into space. It slowed him down, and that just slowed us down by 2 seconds. And, unfortunately, with a good team, if you slow your counters down by 2 seconds because of a missed pass, gives the defense 2 more seconds to recover, right? And so instead of maybe having a 4-on-4, you've got a 4-on-6.
I think pace might be the key to solving this British defense. Of all these sides, you look at the speed on the fullbacks for the United States. Shaw and Trippier, both guys more known for their technical ability than their speed. And that's certainly the same with the center backs as well. Now Pulisic in control, sending a chip up the middle, but it trickles into the hands of Jordan Pickford. Not much danger there for the United States.
Yeah, a couple times here in the last few minutes, though, you're seeing our guys get the ball in the midfield with space. And for England, you don't want to, they don't want to give us that too many times, right? Because eventually, even though we're not the most clinical team, eventually we will figure out how to get some pretty good opportunities if you keep giving us those chances.
That's what England trying to make known. The difference between football and soccer is the technical ability. United States, more about the passing or more about the speed, the pace. England, certainly a team that is looking for calculated possession-based runs. Now the Brits in control up the left side. Sean Maguire having a pass, and it ends up going back to Stones. Now Rice. Up to Trippier. That's really the one confusing part of the British starting lineup. We've seen Kieran Trippier a lot more favored than Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I'd think would be a no-brainer starting at the right back spot.
Yeah, Southgate loves Trippier, man. He did last World Cup as well, and he just loves that guy. I think he's gone to war with him a bunch. Trippier's had a bunch of big free kick and set piece moments for him, and it's just one of those things. It's like his guy, and I think maybe he doesn't value Alexander-Arnold's defense as much. Trippier's a little bit better defender than Alexander-Arnold, and Alexander-Arnold obviously well known for his ability to get forward and do things in the attack.
Having a guy like that off the bench has to be dangerous, who really can play any position on the right side. Trippier now controls on the throw-in with Berhalter right behind him, barking out orders to his United States squad. Christian Pulisic going one-on-one with Harry Kane. He's been pretty quiet in this first half, and I think that has been the game plan from the get-go for this British team.
Yeah. Teams have really figured out how to shut him down, and I've been kind of a little disappointed in Greg's inability to figure out ways to get him into different space, to get him going sometimes.
Do you think putting him more in the center of the pitch would be a solution to that, just to have him more naturally involved with the attack?
Yeah, it could be at times, and
a dangerous play as Sterling was going one-on-one with Serginho Dest, but it ends up falling back towards midfield. Now England's center backs controlling with Stones and Maguire.
Set up by a long diagonal, I think by Stones right there, that went to Sterling. So just something to be on the lookout for. Here's another long pass. Is, with the U.S. set back in kind of a mid block to even low block at times, those passes over the top are going to be one of the pieces that could unlock, the U.S. defense. And so that pass that went over the top to Sterling led directly to a one-on-one opportunity with the U.S. still kind of recovering in space.
U.S. trying to get the ball out of their zone there. as a foul is going to be called on Mason Mount. 25th minute now, still scoreless between the U.S. and England. England currently the leaders of the group on goal differential, with them and Iran each with a victory, but that 6-2 win for England holding strong so far. A win earns them a space in the knockout round. The United States still has 2 games definitively in the need to clinch. Here's Weston McKennie. United States looking more dangerous on the right side. Back tap to Musa. Now Adams. To Dest. Now McKennie looking for the cross. Sterling's on him. McKennie. Inside to Musa. Musa turns a corner. Flips it back to Dest. Now Weah, the goal scorer against Wales, sends it towards the center. And a Weston McKennie shot goes over the bar. United States, another chance, but a mishandled shot there by McKennie.
This is just awesome build-up play by the U.S. You know, everybody working for, I think, one more pass to continually make the play more dangerous. And with each one of those passes, it disorganized England a little bit more and a little bit more. And then finally, McKennie snuck in, you know, to a pretty dangerous space. That was just a perfect ball to him, and he just mishit it. I mean, that's one of those moments. It's not a gimme, right? He didn't miss a gimme there. Let's not go crazy with it. But at the same time, it's one of those moments that's going to be one that we're going to have to take to win this game. We're going to have to take a volley like that and put it in the back of the net.
Guys, make sure to voice your opinions in the comments there. I think I agree with you, Adam. And if you saw in the replay, a bit of a deflection might have affected the shot from Weston McKennie. That ball from Dest was knocked down by the British left back in Luke Shaw. But we do want to hear you guys in the comments. Just make sure to just keep talking about this match. A lot of exciting play going on. Scottish Gaz and Philip Mason, the only guys who have been active in the comment section for us. Seems like we have 2 guys going for each side here. And they're taking another look at the shot. And you'll see again, Dest and Musa doing a good job.
Yeah, that looked pretty clean through. It was a Timmy Weah driven ball, you know, through to McKennie, and just the one hopper obviously makes it hard to get clean contact on it. McKennie just kind of skied it, but it was there for him, you know. Tough. It's not an easy play, right? The ball is driven with pace by Weah, and McKennie had to pick it up, you know, off of one hop.
And Jetty Robinson there fouled by Trippier. No advantage played. And the United States have a free kick deep in their own half. It'll just be a defensive pass. Zimmerman going back to Turner. Now Ream with Harry Kane applying heavy pressure.
Great signs of life from us, though, Josh, in the last 10 minutes. I thought we lost the first 18 minutes pretty emphatically. And I think we've won this last 10 minutes. You know, really, England doesn't have much coming our way, and we've been able to create some really nice little link-up play moments going their way.
And United States in control of the attack once again, with McKennie playing a more active role. Now the ball squirts to Pulisic. Over to Robinson as the United States in the attacking third. McKennie in the middle of again. Back to Robinson. Looking to send it towards the middle with Musa. Musa, long distance shot, deflected, and an easy save for Jordan Pickford. But as you said, Adam, it's the attack has been favoring the United States these past couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I know that goes to Pickford, but that's one of those plays that can get deflected and go in very, very easily. So I love Musa taking this shot. Really not that hopeful of a shot. It's, you know, maybe 25 yards out, and, you know, just kind of drove it through a player, deflected off. And, you know, fortunately for England, it went right to Pickford, but I feel like that ball easily could have gone toward a corner. It would have been a much tougher play for him.
That ball hit on the underside of Declan Rice's right thigh, and you're absolutely right. We've seen balls like that go just about every which way, but fortunately for England, Pickford controls it easily. Now England controlling. They're in the 18-yard box, but a great defensive play by Serginho Dest takes the ball right off of Mason Mount's feet.
Yeah, I'm just going to shout out Yunus Musa, man. Musa has been all over the field tonight. He's been awesome progressing the ball. He's, been a part of some of our link up play that have led to the opportunities. He's, been going after it defensively. You know, honestly, for a 19-year-old, he's been a man, amongst men in this game. And we need that kind of performance. I knew we were going to need it out of him, and he's bringing it tonight.
Fourth youngest player in American history to start a World Cup match in the opener against Wales. And he's a guy who gets better and better every single time I watch him play.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think like at our best in the games where we've been good, it's been, funny enough, not our left side with Pulisic. It's been our right side, with Weah and Dest and Musa, McKennie at times combining. It's where we create a lot of our most dangerous action. And so, we saw that earlier. The cross that came in from Weah was after a lot of link up play on the right side of the field. You saw it, a couple other times today. So just be on the lookout. Right side of the field for us. That's where a lot of the best soccer's played for us, where a lot of our best chances happen.
I think part of that is because teams try to stop Pulisic on that left side, so the right side has to step up, and they're certainly doing so tonight.
Yeah, and you've got a right back over there in Dest who's extremely technical and great at combining. And then I think Weah is not too shabby himself. And then obviously the midfield gets involved over there too.
Half an hour has gone. We're a third of the way through this match, still scoreless in the United States and Britain.
This is I think it's a big moment both ways, this last 15 minutes. I think we saw what England can do in the last 15 minutes of a 0-0 game against Iran. They have enough firepower they can go in 3-0 easily. At the same time, we know the USA can get goals, in bunches as well. So this is massive. If I'm Greg Berhalter in the US, I'm just staying aware that we're not pushing too far forward and leaving ourselves exposed. We've had some good opportunities. I think at times what can happen is you can get a little bit overzealous, push too many numbers forward too quickly, and you can leave yourself exposed in the back. And that's what we can't afford to do.
Chipped cross in by Trippier, knocked away. Trippier controls again, goes all the way back to his center back partner in John Stones. And we've talked about this. It seems like this match has been broken up to thirds and a half. First 15 minutes, all England. Next 15 minutes, it might not be all United States, but they certainly got the advantage in the middle third of this first half. And now the final third commences. We'll see who comes out with the advantage.
Yeah, no real England opportunities there in that middle 15.
And Weston McKennie pushing the tempo up the right side. Chipped cross to Musa, who's got space in the middle. Now Pulisic in a dangerous spot. Pulisic, the shot off the crossbar. And that was as close as it's gotten so far. Christian Pulisic inches away from getting the USA the opening goal.
That reminded me of a goal he had in the restart for Chelsea, where you just don't usually expect him when he puts it on his left foot to shoot. And I think he shocked the whole England team. They're expecting him to try and, take a guy on or cut it back to his right foot. And he just took it with his left. And you talk about inches away, right? That's 4 inches down, Josh. And we're talking about off the crossbar and in. But you just gotta love the liveliness from this Yank squad, man. We're bringing it to them and we're not backing down.
And I like to see that from Pulisic as well. He has been kept in check for the most part. And his first chance with the ball at his feet, he takes it and very nearly scores it.
That would have been a worldie. That would have been an all-timer. Gosh, that would have been sweet. But once again, let's focus on the job at hand. Soccer is a game. Create, 10 of those moments, and that's how you score. Create as many moments like that as you can where you're getting the ball in the box and getting the ball to good players' feet and getting some high percentage crosses in. Create 10 of them and you get a goal or two. So, I feel like we've created 3 or 4. Let's just keep generating those opportunities without giving England, equal opportunity going the other way.
And a free kick for the Brits, a foul on Walker Zimmerman on Harry Kane, both for a jump ball. Currently 4 players around it, but you got to expect Kieran Trippier, the free kick artist, will be taking this one about 30, 35 yards out. And he does. Loops a pass in. Header by Maguire. Knocked away by Dest. Mishandled by Wright, but he'll boot it away. and the United States get a successful clearance on a free kick attempt.
Yeah, I didn't hate that foul on Zimmerman. I think he's challenging Kane, making it really tough for Kane to go up in the air and get the ball, and it was far enough out that it just wasn't that dangerous of a free kick opportunity.
And there's really one player on each side that the offense runs through. For England, it's Harry Kane, and the United States is keeping him in check. For the United States, it's Christian Pulisic, and other than that near goal, England has been bottling him up as well. 35th minute, the ball all the way back to Pickford.
What we've done a better job of, honestly, than we did in that first 15 minutes is in the transition moments, we have gotten bodies back, especially flooding them to England's right side and not letting them, get any freedom on that side. And that's going to be big. And honestly, we haven't given up that many transition moments. Even though we've pushed forward, there haven't been times where England's driving the ball back with numbers at us. And that's, going to be massively important for us. So really good job by Greg Berhalter of the USA over the last 20.
So the United States, the standings just flashed up for Group B. Third place, live standings with 2 points. England would maintain the lead in the group no matter what happens today. As a low cross comes in, knocked all around, headed. Sterling ends up with it, but he's surrounded by 2 Americans. Now back to Shaw. England controlling. Chip pass in for Mount. Matt Turner's going to get there before Kane has a chance.
Yeah,
And a big counter, Pulisic has it knocked off his head by John Stones. A frantic clearance, but England comes out on top there.
Hell of a ball by Matt Turner, right? And that's something that, he's roundly criticized for, his inability to play balls. And I know that was off a punt, but he put that right in Pulisic's path. And I know nothing came of it, but it's just one of those ones where, gosh, that's pretty special.
Yeah, another what could have been, but good defense by England to keep the United States in track. 37th minute, still scoreless. Yunus Musa controlling now in the midfield. Headed away by Saka, but goes right to Tim Weah. He's knocked down. Advantage will be played. McKinney. Back to the captain in Adams. Musa controls. Robinson and Pulisic trying for the 1-2, and Pulisic has it stripped. Handball called. England will control.
I love the way we look in possession, though, Josh. I know I've stressed it a lot over the last 20 minutes, but we look bright. We look like we have creativity and ideas, and that's something you can't always say about this U.S. team. And we seem to have a really connected tissue tonight, that's allowing us to, I think, build some moments up. And, we're not always the most clinical in the final third, and that's what we're going to need to do to kind of put the cherry on it.
But they've certainly gave England fits in this early going. Really threatening the slower tempo that England has tried to push as Adams tries to get around 2 British defenders, has it knocked out of bounds. United States will have a throw in deep in their attacking third. It's going to be Dest who comes in from the back line to throw this in. And actually, he'll pass it to McKinney.
Yeah, going with a long throw, which I think is smart. I think McKinney, here he is wiping his hand off on a cameraman. He's so good at this long throw, though, Josh.
Well, I've never seen the cameraman vest used as a napkin before, but here we are. Long throw from McKinney, and that goes right on the head of John Stones. United States still potential to control it. Haji Wright, one-on-one with Stones. Stones knocks it away, and it's going to be the second corner of the game. Actually, the first corner of the game for the U.S., second in total.
Do you remember who took the first one? Was it Pulisic who took the first one?
No, it's the United States first. Trippier took the other one for.
This is the U.S.'s first. Yeah, I thought so. This is, just interesting to kind of look out for. Pulisic was, crushed for his free kick taking the other day. Looks like he's lining up again, so they haven't made a change. We need him to do better here on these.
Yeah, he does not, though. Harry Kane gets on the end of the outswinging ball from Pulisic, and England will control off the foul.
He at least got it in the mixer there, though, Josh. The other night he just wasn't even putting him in the mixer. He was like hitting the first defender. He wasn't even getting the ball up enough. So, that one didn't work out, but it was at least a little bit more in a dangerous space where a guy could go get it. And so we need, if he's going to be the one taking him, we need to see him putting into places where our guys can run onto him.
And it's just hard to put a ball really anywhere in a mixer like that without Harry Maguire getting ahead on it. 6'5", he's the biggest guy on the field.
Yep, yeah, for sure.
Musa going back to Dest. About 5 minutes left in this first half. We're still scoreless as a chip goes ahead, and here's a chance for Weah. Down the right side, high cross, tries to find Pulisic, but it goes over everyone's head. Now Saka controls, and here come the Brits on the counter. Rice to Kane, very deep for a striker, as now Mason Mount controls. Looking for Saka. Down the right side, send it towards the middle for Bellingham. Goes past him, and now Tim Weah will control. Pace down the right side. He has it stripped, and it's out of bounds. Both sides think it's theirs, but it looks like the United States will get the throw in at midfield.
That was another, that was really the first counter opportunity we've seen for England in a minute. And I think US just did a good job of slowing the ball up enough they could get numbers back in time. And, once again, didn't let that become like a 3-on-2 or 4-on-3. They, forced it back into a 7-on-7, 8-on-8 situation. So good job by the US of just slowing up that England counter.
A nice back pass from Weah. Serginho Dest in the attack. Dest, the shot, deflected away, and I think we're going to have another corner kick.
That was so good. That little back heel flick and touch. And we've seen this so many times, from Weah. McKennie had one the other day. Those are just special, technical things that we have never seen United States players doing at this high of a rate. So really cool to see. I wish Dest would have maybe taken one more touch in the one-on-one move to get a little bit more space. He ended up kind of shooting it before he beat the defender. But once again, United States knocking on the door, really threatening moments. One of these is going to pay off.
Third corner for the U.S., all in the final 10 of this first half. It's Pulisic again. In swinging ball, but right to Harry Maguire, and he'll head it out of bounds.
I don't understand where the U.S. players were there. Nobody was crashing the six. Everybody was around the pit. It's almost like Pulisic took it before his team was ready. So I once again, with the free kicks, something's off. Like, we got to figure this out. I mean, that was a dangerous ball once again, with pace to the six. If we have 3-4 guys converging on the six right there, that could have been something.
Yeah, I don't think that one's on Pulisic. He put that right where you want a corner kick going, but just poor formation, just poor adjustments by the United States attack, unable to get on the other end of that. Now another attack coming forward. It's Haji Wright on the right side with Sterling defending. Wright gets it back for Dest. Dest sends the ball in. The header from Pulisic goes wide. Another dangerous attempt from the USA. They have been in complete control in the final third of this first half.
Looks like Pulisic missed that and it went off his shoulder. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct there, but it did not look like clean contact off Pulisic's head. But that's a tough header. That's like the one Bellingham hit the other day that you just kind of tip your hat at. If you're taking a header from the penalty spot, it's going to be hard to generate enough power on it. But once again, U.S. just connecting play in some really creative ways. I'd love to see them, Josh, instead of just crossing it into the mixer, I'd love to see them take an extra pass or two and see if we can get it in there in another way, not always rely on this, cross-heavy approach.
And United States, 6-3 over England in terms of shots. U.S. with the only attempt on target. 44th minute now as a dangerous ball sent in, but it meets the hands of Matt Turner, the sure-handed number one for the United States. Couple more chances at attack as McKennie slows it up in the midfield. Dest links with Adam, who's patrolling the middle of the park. United States have been in a lot more control, but a mishandled touch by Robinson turns the ball over. England will get it started with Declan Rice, the talisman for West Ham. Rice again. 1 minute left in regular time in this first half. We are still scoreless. in the most anticipated match of Group B. Now Bellingham with a chance. He's defended by Adams, sends the cross in and meets the head of Dest. And that's going to roll all the way away, but England still in control. Sterling flicks on to Shaw. Shaw's got space. Low cross. Saka deflected high in the air. And that attack falls to no avail. Good defense in the final third from the U.S.
Yeah, once again, it starts on the England right-hand side. It's a Saka to Bellingham ball that kind of created the first little, spurt of danger. Ball got, down the right-hand side, and USA just did a terrible job, of marking the players on the England left-hand side. You can't let a guy, basically dribble to your edge of your 6-yard box and cross it across the face. Just poor defending at the beginning, poor defending at the end. They're, just leaving a little bit too much space right there on both sides.
Saka unable to get a clean touch on it, though. And now it's
got to make sure, finish the half. With injury time, you probably got 1 minute left. Finish the half. No late goals.
U.S. would like a late goal of their own, but not for England, who gets control after the ball ping-pongs around off the goal kick. One or two more attacks, maybe one for each side, depending on how this goes, but England is going to try and give themselves the only chance. Nice flick on from Sterling, deflected away, and a nice save by Matt Turner. Mason Mount, a low ball with pace, but Turner knocks it away.
Yeah, we've got to wake up here at the end of the half, Josh. And hopefully that's the last chance, but we've just looked lifeless these last 2-3 spells of English possession. We're not recovering back. Right there, they're just able to kind of play right through the middle of us. And there's no urgency by Adams, who normally has massive urgency getting back. All these guys, no urgency to get back into the play. And just beautiful little combination play right there from, I think, Sterling to Mount. And Mount, easily could have scored that one.
And just a really quick flick from Raheem Sterling. And now it's Kieran Trippier standing over the ball. Second corner of the match for the Brits. Here it comes. In swinger, right to Matt Turner. And that should end the half. United States doing everything that you can ask for against a heavily favored British team as Turner punts this ball away to end the first half. It seemed to be U.S. with the best chances on net against this British side, who's one of the favorites to win this World Cup. We are still scoreless in the second match for the United States in Group B. And this match is brought to you by GOLZ TV. Because if you haven't already heard, GOLZ is the sponsor of today's stream. Like YouTube, GOLZ is a video streaming platform, but they exclusively stream soccer content. We love what they're doing over there and watch some of our favorite content creators on that platform. It's completely free to use. If you want to check it out, go to golz.tv or click the link right underneath this video. We're going to take a quick break. You can check out GOLZ TV while we take a break and get ready for halftime. England 0, USA 0 in the second match of Group B play at this World Cup. United States have been keeping pace every bit of the way with their British rivals, still scoreless as we approach the second half. Adam, let's get right into it. What are your thoughts on the first half from the United States?
Yeah, unbelievable first half. I mean, that's all we could have hoped for and more, in my opinion, other than getting a goal. I think that you have to judge soccer games based on performances, not results. It's just how the game flows and goes, right? And very similar to, I felt great about the Canada performance the other day against Belgium, and they didn't get a goal and they lost. I felt great about this game so far for the U.S. You play that half with the exact rhythm it had 10 times. We're leading more often than not, and I think at the end of the day, that is a massive win. I talked earlier, Josh, about coming out with confidence, making sure we have confidence. So when England goes to the bench, it's not those world class bench players coming into a game where we have low confidence. So great start. Unbelievable start. I think the first 15 minutes kind of owned by England. After that, other than that last 2 minute spell where England had a couple nice chances, we really dominated the chances. So fun to see. I mean, it's really fun to see because that is not what 2010 was like, right? I know we drew in 2010. It didn't feel like this. And so this is really cool. This is fun stuff. We have been a one half team, though. So it's going to be really, really vital that we can come out and make the right adjustments, make the right in-half adjustments when they're needed, and keep the momentum rolling into this half.
And you mentioned it. It's been a tale of two halves. It certainly was against Wales. United States dominated the first 45 minutes. I wouldn't say total domination today, but what can they do to keep that level of play up in the second half rather than reverting as they did against Wales?
Greg has to make subs at the right time. I thought he waited too long last game. I thought specifically, McKennie was just absolutely gassed, and he took too long to get McKennie out of the game. So he's got to have his finger on the pulse with the subs. He's got to pull the right strings at the right time. He's got to make sure and hopefully, give the guys, right, what is England going to come out and do? What adjustments are England going to make, right? And then are we prepared for those before they happen? And that's what great coaches do, right? Great coaches understand what the other team could do, and they make sure and prepare their team. Hey, guys, we could see this, this, or this. Let's talk about what we're doing if they do this. Let's talk about what we're doing if they do plan B, if they do plan C, so that our guys are ready. I thought last game, Wales came out, made the sub, brought a, huge striker on, played more direct, brought more pressure, and it looked like we'd never seen it before, right? And so I don't know what England's going to do. I think we could have that conversation, but what are we going to do versus whatever England does, because sports are a game of adjustments. Soccer is a game of adjustments. And so we've got to win the adjustment battle here. We got to make sure the adjustments we make overshadow the adjustments that England make.
And one thing the United States has that has completely overshadowed England is the midfield. That I think was key in this first half because other than that Mason Mount chance, it was just an absolute domination of the United States midfield when against England.
Yeah, specifically Yunus Musa was really good. I thought McKennie and Adams were good too, but Musa was just on a different level. He was really special. I think the physicality of our midfield showed up in that first half. I think we were winning second balls. I think we were, pushing the ball forward. We were doing the defensive work and the offensive work. And so I thought you saw a younger, more spry, more active U.S. midfield. And Bellingham, as good as he is, and he had a couple good offensive moments, he's not the most physical dude. And that's good for us. With Adams, McKennie, Musa, they're physical dudes. So I think we made Bellingham look a little bit worse than he is. And then I think Rice and Mount were just kind of no-shows, honestly. They didn't really make much of an impact on the game. Like you said, Mount had that nice shot at the end. Other than that, he didn't really do much impactful.
And you look at the bench, particularly the midfield bench for the Brits. You got Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, who's more of a defensive midfield, so he might not be the guy you look to, Marcus Rashford, and Phil Foden. You think any one of those guys comes in?
Yeah, I mean, I think we see Foden pretty quickly. But once again, the problem is, who do you bring Foden in for, right? Are you bringing him for Mount? I think it's an upgrade, given how this game's gone. But I think if you're England, you can't go too crazy with the attacking talent because you already, with who they have in, they were already leaving space in the midfield for us to attack. And if you really source back a lot of the opportunities we had, they started with connection play in the midfield that got the ball into dangerous space quickly, progressed beyond the lines of the England midfield. And so if you start to bring in guys who are pushing forward and more offensive, that's not going to make life harder on us. It makes it more dangerous for them when they do get in those moments. But I wouldn't mind it if they brought on, a Mason Mount or sorry, a Phil Foden and left Mason Mount in, and all of a sudden you got multiple attacking midfielders and not enough guys who are box to box or defensive. I think that plays to our advantage. So I think we might see Foden, but I think it'll be for Mount. I think you could see a guy like a Calvin Phillips. I think it would be to add defensive stability, not necessarily to push them forward. So it's the offensive subs I'm more scared of, though, Josh. Right, like them coming in against a tired U.S. defense 20 minutes into this. That's what we have to be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take a Jordan Henderson getting subbed on because as good as he is defensively, he doesn't, as you said, he doesn't scare me against this United States midfield that's been completely controlling the pitch. But on the flip side, you might be a little biased because of the jersey you're wearing, but who do you think comes in for the United States in the second half?
I mean, I don't know. Is Gio Reyna playing soccer? He says he is. I was reading some stuff at halftime. His dad says he is. Eric Winalda's on his pregame is saying that, Claudio said he's 100% healthy. Greg's trying to get him to say he's not healthy. I don't know what's going on with this saga, man. I've been fighting with people about it on both sides. Everybody's convinced they know one way or the other. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I would love to see Gio Reyna in this game. I think he could be a massive, in the same way that I think, Grealish and Foden and the guys we talked about on the England side are difference makers. Gio might be the biggest difference maker either way. Him coming in against a tired England defense with about 30 minutes left could be absolutely game changing. It could give us that bite and that cutting edge in the center of the park, right? Not wide and crossing it in, but the center of the park. We need the guy who can make the unlocking pass, right? Who can beat the guy off the dribble, to open up the space. And that's what Gio Reyna brings. So, yeah, I'm biased because I've got the jersey on, but he's the guy, man. He is who we need to see. And so I think that's a massive U.S. sub. I think be aware of Josh Sargent coming into this game late and just changing the flow up with the 9 and us being able to play through into the 9 a little bit more. And then always Brendan Aronson, man. I mean, he can just always be a game changer with his ability to press and play hard. And so those would be the 3 on more of the attacking side that I would bring in if I were the U.S. And then you got to start to think about getting the guys with the yellow cards out of the game. I don't want to do it too early, but you've got some key players. I think Adams, McKennie, Dest on yellows. I might be missing one, but you got to think about getting those guys out of the game. As much as I want to beat England, we need those guys for the Iran game.
Yeah, the one guy you didn't mention on the yellow is Kellen Acosta, who is coming off the bench for the United States. Do you think they risk him getting a second yellow card?
I think they're okay with Acosta getting the second yellow. Yeah, if they feel like, I want Adams out. Adams is the one that I don't want to get the yellow. I'm going to be, holding my breath and crossing my fingers here for the first 20 minutes. But I would bring Acosta in for Adams at the 6. I know that's not a popular opinion by everybody, but he's okay. In a game like this, I think he can be okay as long as he's not over dribbling and just doesn't give the ball away in bad spaces, which he has a bad habit of doing. He could be a guy who, honestly, he could be a free kick taker in the last 20, 30 minutes. If Reyna, for some reason, isn't healthy and Greg doesn't decide he can play, that could be Acosta. So I don't mind a late Acosta sub. It would be at the 6 for me, and it would be for Adams. I'd love to see Joe Scally too.
Yeah.
I think this is a game. There's just not, I think we're playing free and we have nothing to lose because we really don't. Whether we win, lose, or draw this game, you still go into next game probably just needing to beat Iran, no matter what. Yes, if we could beat England, maybe a draw gets us through, but I wouldn't go all out for the win here. I would play hard, play confident, but I think we still have to make sure we have enough awareness of what else is in the future.
Some interesting points as each team is getting set to take the field again. We want to hear from you guys in the comments. Who do you think is coming on? Who do you think is going to win this deadlocked match 0-0 as the second half is now underway with the United States getting started? Doesn't look like there's any changes in the starting lineups just yet, but the U.S. playing it from their back line as England ratchets up the pressure to begin this second half. A nice searching ball for Pulisic, turned away, and Bellingham crashes into Tyler Adams. The play will continue. Musa in control, sending it to Pulisic. Slows him up a little bit. Now Adams into Musa. Pulisic now in control. Sends the cross, deflected away. United States getting the start in the second half. And it looks like both starting lineups will stay the same. No substitutions in after the first 45 minutes. Pickford in goal for England. Maguire and Stones in the center, flanked by Shaw and Trippier. In the midfield, it's Mount, Rice, and Bellingham. Harry Kane up front. Sterling and Saka on either side of him. United States continuing to try and pound the ball in towards the center. England deflects it back again. Robinson might try the long throw in here. Flipped it to McKennie. Chest it over for Pulisic now. Now Robinson. Back to Adams. The USA will send it towards their back line. They have the same formation. They have the same lineup. Looks like they changed up the formation a little bit. A 4-4-2 with McKennie and Pulisic as the attacking midfielders. Musa and Adams playing the more defensive midfield role. Robinson, Reams, Zimmerman, and Dest in the back line. United States cannot change their status. They cannot clinch elimination. They cannot clinch advancement. England only advances if they win. Scoreless with 2 minutes gone by in the second half.
Look out for the press, Josh. I mean, England a couple times has really authoritatively ran at our back line guy. Trying to figure out if that's being triggered by a specific guy or if it's just kind of once we flood and recycle back, they're pressing in those moments. But very, very distinctly, 2 moments where they press way harder. I think clearly a tactical adjustment by Southgate at half.
And each side needing to make some adjustments. England trying to clinch their spot in the knockout rounds. As here comes Saka, he has it taken off his feet. And now the United States will have the counter. Pulisic in control. He has Wright running out ahead of him. Pulisic taking it himself. Sends a nice through ball for Haji Wright. Wright looks to cut back inside. Wright, the shot knocked away, but right to McKennie. McKennie from long distance has it knocked away, and we'll have the first set piece of the second half. United States getting the first chance of the second.
Yeah, good. All started with good defensive work by Jedi Robinson, poking that ball away. I think Pulisic did a really good job of advancing the ball and driving it forward. He released it at a really nice time. I thought once again, I thought Haji Wright had a couple outlet passes when he took that shot, and I thought Weston McKennie could have just, done a little bit something different other than just taking the heroic long shot. There's extra touches and extra passes out there to be made. Haji had, both Weah and McKennie coming on when he took that shot, and so love to see the U.S. make that one more pass, or one more move just to get a higher percentage look.
Everyone trying to be the hero, it seems, for the United States. As the shot by McKennie was not deflected. He just shot it over the net. Now England in control, their first sustained possession of the second half. Here's Mason Mount over to Saka. Back to Trippier. Now in for Sterling, who's had a very quiet game. Now he makes a run forward, but it's quickly cut off by the captain in Tyler Adams. And I talked a little bit about this with Carter in the U.S. opening match against Iran. But what are your thoughts on Tyler Adams being named the captain for this World Cup?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, he's one of the guys who's on the field the most, and I think he's a guy who's universally respected. I think he can handle it. I think putting that weight on his shoulders, just doesn't matter as much. I think with Pulisic, he just doesn't need more weight on his shoulders. He's the default captain in the eyes of the entire country, right? So we don't actually need him to take on more of like the actual thinking captain responsibility. So I like that it's kind of spread out because we know that, obviously we know Pulisic's going to lead. McKennie's going to lead in his own ways. You got some guys leading in their own ways.
And there, Adams leading, taking the ball off of England. It's Pulisic who's taking control in this second half. He gives it to Wright, keeping it in bounds under heavy pressure, and Jude Bellingham ends up knocking the ball out of bounds. And
So
now
England's
Musa
done a
on
nice
the
job
throw.
of covering Pulisic in these couple transition moments and forcing him to give it up. And then, they are swarming to make life tough on whoever he gives it up to. So just something to be aware of. If we can get Pulisic out in more of like a 3-on-3 type situation, 2-on-2 type situation, it's going to be a little bit more dangerous.
And the United States making a more concerted effort to get Pulisic the ball at his feet as he tries to lead the U.S. attack. Now it's Shaw on the throw, and that's deflected back to Musa. Chance for the U.S. in the middle third. Pulisic has it stripped, and now England will attack. Bukayo Saka coming down the right side, gaining speed. Adams on defense here. The slide tackle, a dangerous move, but a successful one as Adam pokes that ball out of bounds.
Yeah, it's just Adams doing what Adams does, man. Just, really good one-on-one defending and kind of being a one-man transition stopper. So really good stuff by him, especially on a player the quality of Saka.
And Kieran Trippier has been a big part of the British attack and defense. He gets the throw in. Now the ball all the way back with Maguire, who's running up. Aggressive center back for England. And now the U.S. tries to counter, but that looks like it's going to fall harmlessly to Luke Shaw, who'll send it back to his keeper in Pickford. Not too busy of a day for either keeper so far, but Pickford has done a nice job kind of starting things in a slower run attack for England. Bellingham in control, a guy who was dominant against Iran, has been held relatively in check by the United States so far. England with a chance to run forward, mishit by Mount, and that is going to be back to Turner, who has to deke out Raheem Sterling. 53rd minute, still scoreless. Been a pretty evenly played game so far.
Still nervous anytime Turner tries to do something like that with his feet. It's just, I watched him for so long, not be good at that stuff. And I know he's improving with Arsenal. And what he did was great and kind of kept possession alive versus just booting it long. But just don't want him to get too over ambitious. I think England has really seemed to be driving and pushing forward. I think specifically to take advantage of the weakness of Walker Zimmerman under pressure, who just, for all the things he's good at, not good under pressure. And obviously Matt Turner, not the strongest with his feet. And Jedi Robinson, not the strongest with his feet. So, you've got some guys, and then I think McKennie and Adams in the midfield have shown, a tendency to turn it over against pressure at times too. In some big moments in that Japan game, most notably, you saw McKennie kind of turn it over in the midfield under pressure that led to the Japan goal. So just something to be aware of, right? I think the scout is out there, that the U.S. is susceptible to pressure. I think it seems to be what England's adjustment at halftime's been. And if we're the U.S., we got to make sure we're a little bit more careful with the ball, play direct when we need to. Mainly don't give it up. Don't create the opportunity for England with our turnovers.
United States will get a throw in and a drop back to the netter in Jordan Pickford. Still scoreless here. Weah had a foul on him, an injury scare, but he appears totally all right. Pickford in control. England trying to slow the pace in this second half. It's been a lot of pressure from the U.S., and they continue it here. Stone switching the play to Luke Shaw. The fullbacks for England have had most of their possession. And now it's Harry Kane, who just seems to go back deeper and deeper to try and get the ball at his feet. And a guy who's really impressed me, Adam, is Serginho Dest. He's looked as good on defense as I think I've ever seen him.
Yeah, that's a good call out. I think he's been really, really rock solid today. And, we're not driving him forward as much as I think we have in the past either today, which is, I don't think, a bad decision by us. At times, if you watch when we're in possession, he's playing almost like a 3 at the back. A couple times he's been that far back. And then, he seems to be pushing forward opportunistically and not just kind of as a rule.
Trippier knocks it right off of Jedi Robinson, and England will get a throw in. They'll play it back with John Stones. Now Maguire switches the play to Shaw. United States waiting back a little bit as Stones is in control now. 2 corners apiece. United States has more shots and fouls in this contest so far. They're in control now. Pulisic in the center of the park. He has it taken away, but a foul called on Bukayo Saka. Those are the challenges the U.S. has to make. They want the guys, the attacking players for Great Britain to try and make those tackles.
Tactically, the U.S. has done an awesome job on Harry Kane. I know it's something we talked about as a key at the beginning of the game, and I think, from Zimmerman kind of fouling him in the air, just kind of, letting him know he's there, to multiple bodies being around him when he, gets it, to covering his runs. Like, we really just haven't let him get free at all. Like you said before, he's feeling like he has to drop all the way more to kind of that midfield number 10 space to get the rock. And I don't think that's a bad thing for us. As good as he is at that stuff, I think we're totally okay if he's going to stay further away from goal.
And England has had possession as high as 62%. It's down to 53 now. So the United States really chipping away after England had the most possession in a World Cup match since the 1950s.
Oh.
And a nice ball in from McKinney. Weah has it knocked away, trying to make that centering pass. But Adams gets it back for the U.S. He'll send it all the way back to Matt Turner.
This is just
States slowly threatening.
This is just beautiful. I mean, we're like building through possession. You've got an unlocking pass from Jedi to Musa in the middle. Great switch of play. Nice unselfish ball to Weah on the run. I mean, it's great soccer. It's like really cool to see that. And I know, once again, it doesn't lead to a goal, but Timmy Weah has a role to play in this game. I believe that. He's going to have a couple more runs like the ones he just had that's going to, I think, unlock the goal for us. That's my prediction. I see a goal coming for us here. I don't see England doing much to us. As long as we stay solid, in the countering opportunities, we've got the best of it.
And Tim Weah unlocked the goal in that first game. Now it's Pulisic trying to do the same. Not sure if that shot's deflected, but it goes wide of Jordan Pickford on the right side of the net. And it seems like Pulisic has earned himself a corner kick on his first or his second shot of the day.
I still bring up the question, Josh, can we play another pass or two? Is there another pass or two out there that can be played? I thought Wright was shaping up to the ball pretty nicely. Can Pulisic play the ball to him and, instigate some sort of 1-2 action? I don't know. I'm just asking questions here. Maybe we end up hitting one of these hero shots and I'm going to close my mouth. But
Pulisic on the corner in swinger. He had Zimmerman open, but it was knocked away by the Brits. Musa, physical, and he is called for the foul.
This is another good corner by Christian Pulisic. I mean, he puts it into a really dangerous space. It's in that no man's land where the keeper doesn't quite feel comfortable enough to come get it. And honestly, if you can get the right runner onto that space, then it could be a goal. So I love what I'm seeing out of him on the corners. He's doing a better job.
Yeah, nice backside run made by Walker Zimmerman, but just the big body of Harry Kane making it difficult for anyone else. He's put his head on all 3 Pulisic corner kicks.
Yeah, the little gamesmanship, Musa running through Bellingham's back, just kind of bodying him, letting him know, hey, I'm still here.
And a dangerous ball in, but it's deflected away. A corner kick now for the United States. 4 corners, 2 already in the second half, and we're just 15 minutes through. Still scoreless.
That was Jedi Robinson won the header on the long ball, just went and won a ball, drove it forward, and earned us a corner kick. It was really all Jedi right there.
And we want to hear from you guys in the comments. Who are you guys pulling for in this match as Pulisic is set for his 4th corner kick? Sends in the in-swinger. Looking for Walker Zimmerman on that back post. The ball's ping-ponging around off a couple heads. McKinney tries to get ahead on it. It's Adams who takes it back from Saka. Now Pulisic has it knocked away by Harry Kane. He'll go back to the corner flag for the 5th time.
Another dangerous corner by Pulisic. I can't overstate it enough. He got it over that first line of defense. And I don't understand why we're not flooding the 6 with multiple bodies, Josh. I really don't get it. I just don't feel like we have enough runs coming into that danger zone I feel like our guys are all kind of chilling behind the play. So I'm interested to see if we can do a better job of that.
In swinger again from Pulisic. Once again, it meets an English center back. This time it's Stones, but the U.S. still in possession. Ream to Pulisic, coming in from the left side. One-on-one, it's taken away. That's Harry Kane playing defense. And he does it expertly. But the U.S. still in control. Haji Wright switches the play to Musa. Back to the center backs. Actually, it's Dest who's back on the corner. 62nd minute. United States has been in control for the second half, but neither team has put a goal across.
So we're, a game and 2/3 into the World Cup. I don't think Tim Ream has put a foot or a head wrong. He's just been so unbelievable. I feel like he has total control of the back line and possession, out of possession. Can't speak highly enough about him.
Yeah, he's played. Obviously, Adams is the captain, but it's Tim Ream who I think should be next in line to wear that armband, just by his leadership and the way he has patrolled that center of the defense. Absolutely agree with you there, Adam. Now Dest turns in towards the middle. Fancy footwork. Pulisic flubs the long shot, and it bounces around as England will try and regain control. Saka heads it forward. Adams fighting with Mount. Adams gets control. He's pushed down by Mason Mount, and they're going to give a foul to number 19 on the British side.
And that's just Adams doing Tyler Adams stuff, just outworking people, out anticipating people. And that's another guy. I mean, he gets a surprising amount of hatred on Twitter. Like, I can't believe how many people are anti-Adams just because I feel like it should be nobody. And I feel like I see like a group of people out there on social media who are anti-Adams. I mean, you talk about an incredible game in game one. He's been, once again, spectacular in this game, too. I mean, he's been Johnny on the spot multiple times. He just does all the little things that are hard to tell, right? They don't show up on box scores. And then a lot of people say, well, they don't show up on box scores because they don't matter. And that's just not true. I mean, he's just that intangible dude.
I'm a stats nerd. I love stats as much as the next guy, but the intangibles are proving key. And I think if the match had ended right now, Tyler Adams might be in serious conversation, if not the runaway, with the man of the match.
Yeah, when it comes to defense, we just don't yet have stats that really capture it for soccer. I'll be honest. Like, I love soccer analytics. I'm yet to see the stats for a center back, for a defensive center mid that really capture all that defensive work. They, tackles, and there are stats. They just don't capture it, unfortunately. It's a tough thing to do. So there still is a lot of eye test that has to go on when you're judging a defensive center mid or a center back.
Corner kick again for Pulisic. Number 6, an in-swinger. Far post, eludes Pickford, and that's going to go out of bounds for a British goal kick.
Where's the back post run, though, Josh? Like, where are our guys? I mean, you've got on the front post here, you've got 3 guys. Zimmerman's nowhere close, though. Why isn't Zimmerman flooding the back post? Like, why isn't he there to at least be close? Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get what we're doing on corners.
That's been his job, and it looks like it's another corner kick for Pulisic, and especially that one. Beautifully laid ball towards the back post, but no head on it. Zimmerman late on his run once again. And here's another corner kick. We'll see if they'll do it better from the other side. They will not. It's deflected away by the Brits. But Pulisic, I would give him at least a B+ to A grade on his corners so far. He has been really solid as the U.S. has had plenty of chances from the corner spot.
Yeah, he's putting him into dangerous spots. I don't know if if we're trying to be less conservative, we're worried about counters. We're not, sending as many guys in, but I don't know. We seem to be very populated to one area of the box. We're not diversifying the runs, and we're not really sending them to that danger area, which is right on that 6-yard line.
And if you are watching along on Fox or whatever channel you're watching this from, you would have seen Gareth Bale arm in arm with Jordan Henderson. So he might be the first substitution of the match. A defensive midfield, kind of surprising sub for England, who look to keep conservative with the advantage in the group.
And I can't stress enough for anybody watching out there, this is not some situation where England has the group wrapped up and they don't need to play against us. England is playing. England needs to win. to lock it up to go on. England does not want to draw this game and have to play Wales in a high impact game against a regional rival. So we're not getting like a bad England side or an England side taking a day off. Like, this is England coming at us and trying their best, and we're, we've owned two halves now against them. Most of two halves, we've had the better of it. And in this half, I'll tell you what, we've absolutely dominated play. There's no way to look at this and say we haven't been the better side in this half.
Yeah, not much danger on really the one chance in the attacking third England has had. A light cross from Kane was knocked away. And England certainly doesn't have the group wrapped up, but there is the only situation, barring three unanswered goals from the United States, England will leave in first place in this group. So they are in a good place where they can be conservative. Now they have Jack Grealish and Jordan Henderson with their training bibs off.
But I'm telling you right now, Josh, I know they're still in first if they draw this game. They don't want to play Wales. They don't want to play Wales at 4 points, where if Wales wins the game, Wales also has 4, right? And like, it just brings a lot of things into play for them. And I know they have the goal differential, after that first game, and they feel good about it, but like, it's the World Cup, man. Anything can happen. So, who knows? Maybe they are just playing to the goal differential. They're being a little more conservative because they know a 0-0 still keeps them +4. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be too conservative if I were them. I would try and go get this game.
And the United States can take the lead in this group if they come out on top today with that extra point. Still scoreless 2/3 of the way through the match, though. Doesn't look like any subs are getting ready for the U.S. just yet, but as I mentioned, Grealish and Henderson, two of the best British players on two of the best Premier League sides. Henderson, the captain for Liverpool. Jack Grealish, one of the most expensive transfers in Man City history. A frantic clearance rolls out of bounds, and we might see those substitutions for England.
Yeah, so we got a little over 20 minutes to play here. This is where pulling the right strings is going to matter. I think this is where Berhalter got it wrong against Wales, both with, being able to make a tactical adjustment, bringing the right guys in. So who's going to win this battle, right? Who's going to win this last 23 minutes? Because unfortunately, the game just changes now, as we know. There's a lot of things about a soccer game through the first 60, 70 minutes that are consistent. There's a lot of things that change in the last 20. So interested to see here. We already got Grealish coming on. We talked about the world-class talent coming in. We get Grealish coming in. We get more of a leader and a vet in Jordan Henderson coming in. So interested to see if either of those guys can change the flow of this game from England, because right now it's really been all United States in this half.
And Grealish for Sterling is the first substitution. That I kind of understand. Sterling has been virtually non-existent in this match. But Jude Bellingham, who hasn't had a good match, is the one coming off for Jordan Henderson. And right away, England has a dangerous attack. Cross in from Shaw, headed away. And now that's controlled by Henderson. A great touch, as that's going to flip all the way back to the back line in Stones. But Bellingham coming off, how much does that change this game?
Yeah, I mean, he's also been relatively, a ghost in the second half, especially. So, I don't know. I think maybe they just think the energy of Jordan Henderson and the toughness of Jordan Henderson can help to kind of negate, the toughness of the U.S. midfield. I think Bellingham has been out-muscled in a lot of spots in this game. And Henderson's not going to get out-muscled, right? For whatever his strengths, weaknesses are, that's not something that's going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how the U.S. answers, because, we need to make sure we have legs and a lively bunch on the field to counteract this, this England next wave that's coming.
And if the score holds, England's still in the driver's seat of Group B. They'd have 4 points and a +4 goal differential. United States, it would be in a win and they're in scenario against Iran.
No, don't foul.
Okay. And a really close call, as he had the defender for the U.S. go to ground, but no foul called.
Yeah, there's Grealish just coming right in the game and making an impact with some one-on-one play. Looked, really lively and fresh. And, I think the U.S., it's tick-tock again. Like, what are the moves? Who do we have on the bench? Who can be, as Greg calls it, who can be a solution out here? And we can't just leave the same group on the field, unfortunately, right? It's just as good as they've been. they're going to get out overrun if they don't have some reinforcements coming in to liven things up for us.
And especially now with the extra 2 subs. It was 3 substitutions for a long time and something added by COVID
Oh
to help
gosh.
combat the depth as Turner keeps the ball on his feet a bit too long there. 5 substitutions now. England's made 2. United States can switch up about half their squad if they so choose. Dest down. Should be all right after he made some contact. The ball went harmlessly out of bounds, but England had a good chance close to the United States box. And it looks
Yeah,
like you can
as,
see.
as good as Dest's been, I would go to Joe Scally. I bring in the young legs, the guy who's got a little bit of attacking, bite to him. I think Scally's a sub for us. I think Gio Reyna has to be a sub for us. I think Brendan Aronson has to be a sub for us. I mean, it's those 3 guys. And honestly, they could change the game. You bring in that life going forward, and just all 3 of those guys can bring a lot of juice and dynamic play.
72nd minute, still scoreless, but no sign of substitutions coming for the United States. England starting to get a little bit more momentum in the second half after the first 20 minutes seemed to be in complete control for the United States. And we talked about the need for the U.S. to play a total 90 minutes. Obviously, 90 minutes hasn't come yet, but this is the closest I've seen to a full 90-minute match for the United States.
Yeah, this is one of the best games I've seen the U.S. play under Greg Berhalter. I know it's a 0-0. I know we don't have any massive big chances, but it's just a complete performance. I think we're going up against a world-class team, and I think we've controlled most of this game. Now we got to finish. We got about 20 minutes left. We got to go out and we can't fall asleep. And that's something that this young team, unfortunately has been known to do, right? Is they've been known to not be able to complete full 90s. And so it would be really nice to see us keep this clean sheet. And who knows, maybe even go get a couple opportunities to put one in the back.
Quick free kick for England. Luke Shaw in control. The British, a lot more possession in this final third of the game now. As Grealish sends a low cross in. Musa defending on Kane, and a great job to strip the British number 9. And now Weah on the counter, but he has a quickly knocked back, and England in control again. Grealish, very active since he was subbed on a few short minutes ago. Now it's Shaw. Dest defending on that right side. Back to Henderson. He'll send it back to his center backs with John Stones. Now Mount. For Kane, who continues to go back. He's really playing a lot more of that false 9 role.
Yeah, that good job by Ream right there, just driving him out and driving him backwards. Savvy veteran move. That understanding of just, driving him back 10 yards makes him all the less dangerous with the ball at his feet.
Yeah, Ream and Adams really putting their names up for man of the match. Just stellar defense from those 2.
Yeah, and I got to give Zimmerman a lot of love too, man. I mean, he's been really good in the air, and he's done a good job in his moments with Kane there. And after I think obviously a really poor moment last game that cost us the 3 points, good bounce back by him. I think he's played a really nice game today.
75th minute now. 15 remaining in regulation. Doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of extra time with not a lot of chances from either team. Each team playing a more conservative second match as McKinney controls. Knifes it into Pulisic. He's knocked down, and the Brits control possession now. Grealish towards the middle of the park where he is equally dangerous. Plays more on the left wing, but can certainly play in the center of the park.
Yeah, our right side, it looks tired, Josh. I mean, Dest, McKinney, they just don't have the same pop they had earlier in the game. Even Weah looks a step slow. Like, I think we got to make a move. I don't know what we're waiting for here. I see the right side fading right now for us, though, unfortunately.
McKinney on a yellow. He was subbed out last game. I think, in my opinion, that's the place you got to start if you're Greg Berhalter.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You save McKinney and put some more fresh legs in that midfield where the United States have been so dominant. Maybe push Adams back a little bit. Put
Yeah.
Gio Reyna in that 10 spot.
And my concern aren't the moments like now while England's possessing. It's fine. We're back behind them. I think we have enough energy to handle these moments. It's the transition moments. It's when we're pushing forward. You got to have fresh legs to transition back and maintain your numbers.
That's sent in for Saka. Now the United States controls, and they're going to clear it. Pulisic fighting for it in the middle of the park, but it's back set forward by Harry Maguire. Kane with Ream defending. Deflected pass to Saka, kicked away, and that's going to be a corner kick. And we might see the United States first sub with Brendan Aronson, who has been standing next to Greg Berhalter for the past minute. And it looks like he's going to be the man to come in. We'll see who he takes off, but Brendan Aronson will be the first sub for the United States. And Marcus Rashford is finishing his warm-ups for England.
I'm going to assume he's coming in for McKennie here, but I could be wrong. We'll see. Yeah,
and you are correct. Weston McKennie comes off. So it looks like they heard us there, Adam. Weston McKennie is the man subbed off. A solid first half. He has been really good passing-wise for the United States. And he will walk off to bring on Brendan Aronson.
Yeah,
the United States gets some water.
I'd like to see more than just one. It looks like might get more. Shaq Moore standing up over there. So
yeah, Shaq Moore is going to come on for Tim Weah, I believe.
For Dest, right? Yeah.
No, I'm wrong.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought I saw Dest going off, but it's going to be that right side. You said they looked tired, and two players who are patrolling that right side for the United States, and Dest and McKennie, will come off.
Yeah, Shaq Moore. I mean, you get now the right-hand side of Zimmerman and Moore, club teammates at Nashville, left-hand side, Ream and Robinson, club teammates. So there's something to that. But I'll be honest with you, Shaq Moore is not the guy on the roster that inspires the most confidence in me. I do know the rep on him is that he's a pretty good defender. We're going to need every single ounce of that here late. I think obviously Joe Scally limited caps and, was a little shaky in one of his matchups against a pretty good Uruguay team. So, I guess Greg just doesn't have the confidence yet. I would have gone with the younger guy. I mean, I just think there's more upside there. And, in all honesty, I feel like the downside is similar to me. I think Moore has as much chance of messing this up as Scally would.
And a substitution for England as well. Marcus Rashford coming on to replace Bukayo Saka on that right side. And another guy who the United States virtually neutralized after he scored 2 goals in England's opening game win. Pulisic controls on the left side. He's got 3 British defenders on him. Passing back to Musa, but Adams takes it. Now Pulisic, knifing through the middle, sends one forward, but it rolls harmlessly out of bounds. And Pulisic upset with himself after a mishit pass.
Yeah, we continue to just lack the bite at the end of our attacks, Josh. You just want to see one moment where the right couple balls are made in a row. We pass up the hero shot to maybe make the extra pass, and we do it effectively and efficiently. It just hasn't happened, but I can't complain about the game here. We're playing good soccer.
Yeah, I mean, England, certainly the favored team, but in a goalless draw, it seems like United States has been the better team this match.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a doubt in that, honestly. I don't think many people could say England's been the better team. But, it's soccer's moments, right? So we can outplay them for 85 minutes here. We can't let them catch the moment, and that's it's a really, really important thing in this game.
It's what happened in that first match.
Correct.
Just one tough play, one bad call by Walker Zimmerman, and ended up with Wales getting their first goal in the World Cup since 1964. They don't have a goal in the run of play yet. England has plenty, and they're looking for more, but Mount is dispossessed. And now here comes the United States on the counter. Pulisic sending it forward. Weah on the right side, and a nice slide tackle by Harry Maguire to keep it away from Tim Weah. But Maguire coming up, holding his left thigh. Appears to be all right, though. U.S. still in control. 10 minutes left in regulation, and it was the final 10 that did the U.S. in and cost them 2 points in the opening match against Wales. Shaq Moore getting his first touches. Now Weah. He's going to send it back. United States playing conservative with the center backs coming in forward. Ream, pressure from Kane, but he has looked calm, cool, and collected the entire match. Now England on the turnover. Grealish leading the attack. Ream clears it. And he has been spectacular in the center of the park for the United States.
Yeah, every time England starts to look dangerous, somebody snuffs it out for the U.S., which is awesome. And you're right; it's been the back line at times. At times, it's Adams in the midfield coming back to make the intervention. But we've been good. We've just been really good at snuffing out their counter moments.
Yeah, I'd say about half the time it gets the counter attacks have been quelled. It's been Tim Ream at the center of it as a high arcing pass into the awaiting arms of a leaping Matt Turner. So I'd say my vote for man of the match, I think, goes to Tim Ream. Adams, maybe Adams, but I'd say I'd give it to Ream. I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to let us know. We want to hear you guys following along with this stream. But man of the match so far, Adam, who do you got?
Yeah, I got Yunus Musa. I think both of your shouts are really good ones. I think Musa has just controlled the middle of the park, and he's done a lot of subtle things in this game, on both ends, that have been impactful. And I think this is a game where, without him, we're not driving forward as much as we are. And he's also made some incredible defensive plays.
Weah, chip to Shaq Moore. He gets knocked down, colliding with Jordan Henderson, but it's Moore who draws the foul. Correction, that's Luke Shaw who drew that. And a foul on Shaq Moore, so England will have a free kick deep in their own zone. 83rd minute. We are still scoreless. And it has been a high-octane wire-to-wire match as Tim Weah's father, George, looks on from the stands as his son is subbed out.
Yeah, I think
Weah and Wright will come off for the U.S. Gio Reyna's World Cup debut, and Josh Sargent coming on for the number 9 in Haji Wright.
I like these subs. This is it right here. You got about 10 minutes left with injury time. You got Gio Reyna coming on. You've got Josh Sargent coming on. I mean, given how long they've waited on Gio, I don't know if they're just medically being really conservative or something here, but I'm glad to see him on. I hope that means we'll see him next game, hopefully starting, playing more. But this guy can make an impact, man. Josh Sargent can make an impact. We know Brendan Aronson can make an impact. There's some guys that can go get a goal right here. I hope that, we just don't leave ourselves too exposed at the back trying to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially if this game stays scoreless, I don't think there's a question. You have to start Gio Reyna because the United States, just the one goal in the 36th minute of the first match against Wales, they need some offensive firepower. And if there's anyone the U.S. left on the bench in their first 2 matches that can get that spark, it's Gio Reyna. Now Luke Shaw controls, well defended by Adams. Moore takes down Grealish, and it's going to be a foul called on Shaq Moore. Tyler Adams there as well. And England will have a free kick in the middle third.
That last transition moment, there was a moment that Robinson could have played the ball to Aronson. I just don't think he had his eyes up and didn't see it in time. And there was a nice little connection between Aronson and Reyna available that would have sprung us forward. And so, unfortunate to not hit that one. Those are the moments in transition. We just got to be more, we got to be better. We got to have some cutting edge to us.
Luke Shaw appears ready to take the free kick on the left side from probably over 40 yards out.
Yeah, this is that range we saw Kellen Acosta, get a couple assists, Gold Cup time. So
a nice ball in, but no one there. And that's been the problem for both teams on set pieces. Not a guy. There's really no one meeting those in-swinging and out-swinging balls. And that was really a pass to Tim Ream.
Love to get a moment here late where we get Gio Reyna on the ball with some space and some players and options. I think it's just he's such a game changer if he can get into that space. It's going to be about whether or not we can get him the ball in one of those moments and, let his just elite talent and game-breaking ability, take over.
Yeah, there was a couple games in the qualifying matches where Reyna came in off the bench and just had some unreal skills on the ball. And I think in a game like this that's so contentious, where you've been really lacking a game-breaking play. That kind of stuff could maybe even lead to a goal for the USA. 5 minutes remaining in regulation. Still scoreless. Who do you think will come out on top? We want to hear you guys in the comments. As Pickford controls, he's going to slow it up. As England keeping themselves in favorable position. Only team with a positive goal differential. And they'd be the only team with 4 points.
So, of our late guys, Josh Sargent, great presser. Brendan Aronson, great presser. Obviously, we still got some guys that can cause turnovers in there. So just be alert. Like, one of the U.S.'s primary forms of potential danger here is creating a turnover in a dangerous space.
And no turnover there. That ball's cleared away by the U.S. defense. Sargent trying to get on the ball. There's a chance. Rashford, who's been pretty quiet since coming on. He's in control. Now out to Grealish. Grealish cuts inside. Back kicks to Rashford.
No.
Rashford, the curling shot. Turner saves it.
Yeah,
dangerous play.
2 moments right there. One for Rashford. I thought Grealish had a potential shot too. And if you watch Premier League, you've just seen those guys score goals from those spots so many times that just brings fear into your heart.
But Matt Turner has been in the right position just about every time he has been called upon. Keepers have been pretty quiet, but Turner has had a chance to make some dangerous saves, and he made him count. Now Brennan Aronson, he's had limited touches since coming on, and there's Gio Reyna on the ball, but he'll quickly pass it right back to Walker Zimmerman.
Yeah, you talked about the keepers, Josh. I mean, nothing overly threatening, though. Some okay, nice saves, but really nothing either way that's made you go, "Wow, that was a massive opportunity." It's a game really without a massive opportunity yet. Some okay chances both ways.
I think the closest ones to it were in the first half. As Reyna sends it in, he has it taken away, and that goes straight to Harry Maguire.
We got to go back. We got to go back, though. We got to go back. Oh.
Harry Kane coming forward, and Zimmerman trickles a pass to Turner.
Easy.
Nothing dangerous there. Now Shaq Moore on the ball. U.S. playing out of the back, and England bringing some pressure with Mason Mount.
Oh, get rid of it, Matt. Get rid of it.
Turner going out way too far.
Just release
two defenders closing in.
Why is he scared?
Here's Musa. USA on the counter. Coming in is Aronson. In for Pulisic. Trying to set something up. Nice ball down the right side. Aronson to Moore. Moore, the low cross, deflected away. Dangerous attack, but England clamping down where it counts in the final couple minutes of regulation.
Yeah, Matt Turner's ambition on the ball in this game is going to give me a heart attack, Josh. I'm not going to lie. Like, he's just being overly ambitious on the ball when I feel like he should just release it and play it direct. And, oh, gosh.
He was trying to do his best Manuel Neuer impersonation.
Yeah.
Taking the ball out of the defensive third.
Watching Man City and Ederson too much.
1 minute left in regulation. United States looking close to setting up a do or die, win or go home matchup with Iran. And the United States playing way too cavalier on their own half.
Come on.
Here's Jordan Henderson.
That's fine.
Double teamed, and he's knocked down, sandwiched between Pulisic and Musa. The ref will give Pulisic a warning, but he will not get a card for that move on Henderson. Just kind of got tangled up with the left leg of the Liverpool captain. Here comes a chance. A chip pass into the box, headed away by Shaq Moore, and England will have a corner in the 90th minute.
Know how much do we get extra time yet? Do we get the injury time +4?
4 minutes of additional time, mostly due to substitutions. And England will start that injury time off with a Kieran Trippier corner kick, trying to spur on the British fans in the waning moments of this game.
Let's
Kieran
finish this
Trippier.
video, Josh. Let's finish. We've gotten to here. We've outplayed them. Let's finish. No silly moments. Stay alert here for the last 4.
Third corner of the day for England. 10 overall, with the United States taking the other 7. Trippier in this match for his set-piece ability. Here's the outswinging ball. Will it meet ahead? Cheap deflections and an easy stop for Matt Turner. I think that skimmed off of Harry Maguire's noggin, but nothing dangerous on that corner kick for England, and the United States are close to setting up a win or draw match with Iran.
Yeah, unfortunately, a draw doesn't help us against Iran. Even with the draw today, the draw is no help against Iran. So it's a win situation no matter what, unless we were to pull out a late win here. But I don't mind it though, because it really fully puts everything in our control. If we get this draw, a win, sends us through. No matter what Wales does, no matter what England does, doesn't matter.
And a nice interception by Jack Grealish, but numbers back for the U.S. Grealish taking it up the left side. He's knocked down by Musa, and that will be a foul called. Yunus Musa.
There's just no need right here. As good as Musa's been, he's turning around and playing backward. Musa doesn't need to give him a free kick in a dangerous zone. This was really naive by Yunus Musa, in my opinion. And also just a really bad play by Walker Zimmerman. I don't understand why the U.S. is so reluctant to play it long here in the last 10, 15 minutes of this game. They're dead committed to playing it out of the back no matter what. And that turnover, I think, could be one that cost them. That was a bad Walker Zimmerman turnover. Obvious opportunity to play it long right there. And he tried to, connect a little, cute pass through.
The left foot of Luke Shaw ready on the free kick for England, about 30 yards out.
Got to be aware of Maguire here. Got to find Maguire, track Maguire. Maguire and Kane are the two guys that are the biggest set piece threats.
And it looks like we see Maguire on that far right side, trying to make a backside run. That's sent in by Shaw. A header way wide, but a great opportunity for England. Harry Kane meets it and send it wide left.
Oh, man. From the angle of television, you couldn't tell, how far wide it was for that split second. And, yeah, Harry Kane just didn't get the right angle on it. But he had a pretty free, clean header right there. Not what you want to give up to, one of the most ruthless goal scorers in Premier League history.
Yeah, that was scary. But it goes wide to no avail.
Yeah,
maybe one last chance off the big boot of Turner for the United States.
Time's ticking on us here, and the biggest thing is just be smart with the ball. You don't need to be cute at this point. You don't need to play through them. Just if you get in trouble, play it long.
Ream going back to Turner. Turner holds it, sends it long into the United States attacking zone.
There you go.
Knocked out of bounds by Maguire.
Here we go.
A matter of seconds left as the USA seems imminent to get a point off of the heavily favored Brits. Maybe one last chance on the free kick here. And Berhalter trying to tell the United States to take all the time they need in setting up this deep free kick. Still a chance for a goal off the set piece, but this should be the last chance for either side. Pulisic and Adams awaiting on the set piece. USA sends it forward. Reyna looking to make a play against Trippier. He's double teamed, knocked out of bounds by Grealish. Pulisic. And no throw-in will be taken. 0-0 the score. United States and England on a goalless draw. England still in the lead in the group, but the United States sets up a win or go home matchup with Iran early next week.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, far less stress than I thought. I really didn't think England put us under that much stress going through that game. For the quality they have, how good they were in game one, I can't really point to a single moment for them where I was like, we got lucky. Honestly, probably one of that first moment, the cut back to Kane, and Zimmerman kind of closed his legs and kind of, deflected the ball out of bounds. To me, that might have been the best opportunity England really had. I know they had some other moments knocking on the door, but nothing that I can think of right now where I was like, thank God Matt Turner made that save, or thank God he missed that. And that speaks to us, Josh. I think we played a hell of a game. Our backline and midfield were tremendous. I thought the game plan was pretty spot on from Triple G as well. And honestly, I thought we had the better of it. I'm interested to see what the XG says, but I thought we had the better of it.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about the United States looking to change the perception of the way the world views them as a soccer team against a heavily favored British side. And obviously, this will go down to the books as a draw. It was a loss of points against Wales. This feels like a win for the United States. How do you feel the perception of U.S. soccer is changed by this match?
At the end of the day, I think a 0-0 draw doesn't help. I just don't. I think any average Joe out there watching this game is like, this is boring. In all honesty, today was boring. So I think that hurts, right? There weren't these, spectacular moments that could really make you go, whoa. Like, I had friends texting me the other day, like, who the hell is Timmy Weah? That was pretty damn good. Or like, this Pulisic guy I've heard about, that pass is pretty awesome. And there was nothing like that today, right? That like allowed anybody to shine in a way that a mainstream or kind of average fan would see, right? The guys who shine today were the guys like we've talked about, doing little things. Musa and Adams in the back line, intervening in ways that I think you have to know soccer to really understand and appreciate. It's the defender taking the charge in basketball. It's the guy, always in the right spot rotating. It's like kind of boring stuff, quote unquote. But it's the stuff that wins games. It's the reason we're 0-0 in this game, and the reason we have the better of it is because our back line, I thought, owned the game, and back line and midfield owned and dominated this game to a point that England just saw a brick wall anytime I thought they came in our half for most of this game.
And a big part of that, in my opinion, was Tim Ream. He gets my vote for man of the match. Adam, who are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Yunus Musa. I just think he was really, really vital for us on both sides. I thought this was a game where it was a two-way game in the midfield. We needed, I said this at the beginning, I thought we needed midfielders who were going to be solid enough against what England was doing and not get caught, too far up the pitch and always be working back, but also moving forward and making things happen, connecting back to front, which at times is our weakness. And I thought our front line had so many cool opportunities today because of Yunus Musa. I really strongly believe he was the guy that was the connective tissue back to front. Super fun to see him play like that at his age in a game of this magnitude, right? And now, while I said, Josh, that I don't think it changes the perception of American soccer, if you were an English fan out there and you came into this game going, we're just better than this side, we're just better than them, we're going to beat them, like there's no way you walk away without way more respect. So from an international standpoint, I think anybody who watched us today and underestimated us and thought, I heard about that Japan friendly, they finished, whatever, third in World Cup qualifying in a bad region. I think if you watch today, you have a lot more respect for us for sure. And you understand what Greg Berhalter said before this tourney. We can play and beat anyone. It doesn't mean we're favored to, but we could win this game today. And if you can win this game today against these guys, you can beat anybody on any given night.
And certainly, I don't know if it's, as you said, I don't know if it's a perception-changing win, but a big draw for the United States, and they keep their destiny securely in their own hands in the World Cup going forward. One more match. And sorry, looks like we lost Adam. But Iran ahead 2 points, -2 on goal differential. United States even on goal differential. 2 points for the U.S., 3 points for the Iranian side. Obviously, they need a win in that third group stage match.
Get a win. That's it, right? I mean, it really feels like 2010, the Algeria game. I think that it's a little different because Algeria wasn't moving through with a draw, but it was still the same kind of game. Algeria wasn't, really giving us anything, and we needed to go get a late goal to go through. We know what the job is. We know Iran is going to absolutely park the bus, and we know we're going to have some cutting edge, and we know we're going to have to go get a goal against a team that's going to be completely compact. Because for Iran, they're looking at it going, Wales is most likely drawing or losing. And I think if you're Iran, you think a draw, 95% probably sends us through. And I think they're right. I think it probably is about 95% sure that they're going through with a draw. So we know what we're facing. Greg has a couple days to prepare to plan for it. I think we're coming off a really good performance today. We should feel great about this. We just, played a team that beat them 6-2, right, all the way, down to the end, and we could have easily won this game. So a lot of bright spots to take out of it. I think our guys should feel really confident going into this Iran game. We need to go get an early goal, though. The later we leave it, the harder it is, the more pressure that builds.
Yeah, and the only way Iran does not get through with a draw is if Wales has a multi-goal win over England. Wales goal differential -2 after that loss to Iran. They're at 1 point, last in the group. USA in third, even on goal differential. They can only advance with a win. Iran currently in second place, still -2 on that goal differential due to England's win, and England just needs a draw to advance. So they might be a little conservative, but I don't think Iran can take that risk.
No, I just, if you've watched Iran at all, they're going to be hyper conservative, and it's the concerns I have, Josh. I think the concerns a lot of U.S. fans are going to be feeling if you follow this team closely for the last couple of years. We haven't done well against teams that park the bus. So, we're going to have to go out and create some transition moments off of our pressing, our counter pressing, winning some second balls in certain moments. And you saw that in the Wales game. The bus parked in the first half. We had a kind of ping pong header moment where we won a second ball and played it to Josh Sargent, who kind of chested it down to Pulisic. And like that, lightning struck, right? And so it might be that, right? It might be a lightning strike kind of moment, but we've got to go make it happen. We've got to go out and get the goal, go get it in the first 20 minutes. The game totally changes if you do that.
And certainly a lot to think about before that next match. Before we give you the rest of the schedule for the State of Soccer streams, we want to give a big shout out to GOLZ TV, our presenting sponsor for this contest. As American soccer fans, we often feel out of place in a country dominated by other sports, but recently we found a solution. GOLZ is a brand new soccer exclusive streaming platform made exclusively for fans of the beautiful game. Finding community with the same passion for the game as you should not be hard work. Find the content creators you enjoy without ever having to type the word soccer into a search bar. GOLZ is 100% free to use and holds thousands of hours of soccer-related video content for you to watch. Sadly, the World Cup will come to an end, but at GOLZ, the whistle never blows. Go to golz.tv to watch free soccer content today. You can also click the link in our comments. That's golz.tv for exclusive soccer content. Big thank you to Adam Turner. Before we put the schedule on for the last couple of matches, I want to get your final thoughts on this match. Obviously, it's win or go home on Tuesday for the United States, but a solid game 2 in this group stage.
Yeah, solid game 2. I think today more than anything was, can we build confidence? Can we potentially pull off a result that would be an all-timer? And then secondly, can we just build some confidence up? And I think we did the job. We didn't get that result that would have been like the game changer, but we got a heck of a result against a very good team. But more importantly, we were able to, I think, build some momentum and some confidence going into this last game, which no matter what, this last game was going to matter and was going to be, one we had to pull a result in. So I think we did the job. I think we did the job today. I think like the best and most fun years, we're going into, game day 3 with a chance and a high stakes game to watch as fans. I think that's all we've wanted, right? After what the last, 8 years have given us since our last World Cup appearance, is we've just wanted to be back here. Give us a game 3 to go get a result and go on. And I don't know, as a U.S. fan, I don't think you can ask for much more than that. Let's go support the boys in the final game and go get a win. And I think we're all going to be going nuts if we get that win. And then, it's just kind of in true March Madness style fashion, it's anything can happen once you get into the knockout. And so, one game at a time. Essentially, this is a knockout game, right? I mean, it's a winner. There is no draw here for us. That doesn't help. So it's win or go home, and essentially knockout starts Tuesday, Josh.
Yeah, you might as well call that a knockout stage game, because if the United States do not win, there's no extra time, there's no penalty kicks. It is do or die for the U.S. Join Jack Rigby and myself 2 p.m. Eastern time for the final game of the group stage on Tuesday, November 29th. But 3 more games until that game starts. A surprisingly high-pressure second game for Argentina after a shocking loss to Saudi Arabia. That'll be tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I'll be with Jamie Lauder on the color commentary at 2 p.m. for that. And Joe Gearin will join Adam on Sunday the 27th at 11 a.m. for Croatia and Canada in Group B. Then on Monday, I'll be back with Carter Kuhulahan for Portugal and Uruguay, a battle of 2 of the best strikers in recent history, Luis Suarez and Cristiano Ronaldo, in Game 2 before USA versus Iran. Stick with State of Soccer. We'll have updates on our social media channels as we close out this World Cup. Big thanks to the people commenting and watching today. Philip Mason, Scottish Gaz, and Naomi joining the comments with us. We hope to have more fan engagement from you guys as these go forward, but we appreciate you watching along with us during this World Cup. For Brian McDonough, for McKenna May in the studio, and my broadcast partner, Adam Turner, I'm Josh Sperber. Want to say a big thank you to you guys for watching. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see a lot more World Cup action right here on State of Soccer.